Give a warm welcome to Ketan. Hi.
Hello? Mic check. Hello, everyone. Gadgets360 has completed 10 years, and that's a milestone we are incredibly proud of. In 2015, when this property was being created, the entire thought process was to make a tech publication that could help consumers get the news first along with deep dive reviews, and at the same time, help them with their purchase. Queries like which is the best phone to buy or which gaming laptop to buy were some of the queries that we used to get. But this generation, thankfully, has AI to its rescue. Uh, AI can help you take that call very easily. For someone like me who has been covering this space for a very long time, I have seen the generation move from Google it era to try Chat GPT era. I mean, AI is touching every corner of your digital life, whether you know it or not. While for us here, Gadgets360 might have passed one milestone, important one, but we are getting ready for the next decade. Because you can't just ask readers what they want and then try to give them that. But by the time you get that built, they'll move on to asking something else. So before handing over the mic to Pritika, I want to add a quote by Steve Jobs. Your work is going to fill a large part of your life. And the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great work. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle. As with all matters of heart, you'll know when you find it. On that note, I welcome all the guests. Sit tight and prepare for a good session. Pritika, and you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ketan, for giving us a glimpse into the exciting insights we will uncover throughout the day. Thank you. So our first panel today is smartphones, AI, and changing consumer preferences. It dives into a topic that affects all of us. AI is redefining the smartphone experience from camera capabilities to personalization and performance optimization. But how is this influencing consumer expectations? And how are brands navigating this transformation? Moderating this insightful discussion is somebody who lives and breathes consumer technology. A leading voice in the industry, Tarun Pathak, Research Director, Counterpoint Research. And now let me introduce our distinguished panelists. Saurabh Arora from Mobile Compute XR, Business Head, Qualcomm India, Mr. Girish Kumar, Marketing Lead, Motorola India, Prabhu Ram, VP, Industry Research Group, Cyber Media Research, also known as CMR, Aki's President, Nothing, who will join us virtually. Ladies and gentlemen, a big round of applause for our distinguished panel. Tarun, the stage is yours. Thank you.
Mic check.
Yeah.
Am I audible to everyone? Cool. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Very good afternoon, and congratulations to the entire NDTV team for this decade of tech. And I think this is a very interesting panel, so I'll give a quick background. I've been tracking devices for almost like 13 years now, and I was talking to someone. My parents still to this day doesn't understand what I do. And they just say, yeah, you are doing something, maybe tracking, counting devices somewhere in the warehouse or something. So this is something very exciting, and we are moving forward towards this generational shift. So what we call internally is, there are three major eras that happened in the devices industry. So first happened when your input mechanism changed. You had those bar phones, early 2000s, and then came the smartphone era, which is like more of kind of touch interface. And what we believe internally, we are in this third era, which is very, very important, where your input mechanism will determine the shape of your personalized experiences with your phone. And it could be your voice. And when we say about voice, we somehow translate it like we connected with the kind of AI and the adoption. So our session is very important. I think what we have is very esteemed panelists. How we equate here is there are four pillar blocks of a AI system. One is your semi-infra. I have Saurav on the stage, who is from that value chain and the supply chain companies. And we have someone from the brand side, Motorola. They have been understanding the consumer track very closely. And someone who is tracking this space, Prabhu and I, we have come from the same background. And we have been like tracking this space very closely. So, Saurav, let me start with you first. I think Qualcomm has been pioneering in bringing the AI to the edge, right? And you guys have been doing it like for last 30, 40 years. And AI is something which we've started talking now, but not sure how many people know this, that AI has been around for the last 4 decades, actually. So I want to understand from your perspective, like how you see this transition coming to an edge. By the way, edge here we call as devices, everything we are doing now on mobile devices. What's the kind of transition you are seeing and how excited you are for the next day?
Very exciting times. You know, the Indian, consumers are very early tech adopters. And if you see the proliferation happen in 5G, and AI will be not lagging behind. At Qualcomm, we started working on AI, I guess, 10 years back. First, we started working earlier, but first we introduced our AI engine back in 2015 with Snapdragon 820. That time it used to work with a tandem with CPU, GPU, and DSP. The combination of these three building blocks used to deliver the AI experiences. Go back in time, remember the days when you used to click pictures, the blurring effect started coming in. Back in those days, people used to want to buy phones where they can, have that blur effect in the camera. So
Right.
all that was delivered through the combination of CPU, GPU, and DSP. That's where the AI engine. And now AI has become a very popular buzzword. Everybody's talking about AI. In 2018, our first chipset, Snapdragon 855, we introduced a dedicated block NPU in our chip. So, and we haven't looked back. Year over year, we are enhancing the capabilities of NPU, delivering better AI experiences.
Yes. Interesting. You mentioned the word blur and then blurring the boundaries between the consumer tech and some kind of the supply chain. I think this is important. And the camera becomes a very, very important from this point of view. So Girish, I'll come to you. I think with Motorola, you guys have been doing great in the past couple of years. And I think one thing what I have noticed from the point of view, how you understand the mobile photography, right? So one of the interesting use case, what we have seen at Counterpoint within AI is about the use case of AI in the mobile photography, right? What are the early trends you are seeing and anything like Sora mentioned from the blurry lines to the mainstream one, how's this trend changing from the AI perspective in imaging?
I think what Saurabh said was pretty much correct. Everything is all on top. I think AI is just a term that has been introduced recently, but AI is something indirectly or directly, knowingly or unknowingly, we have been using from more than a decade or so. If I really talk about the data, then more than like 9 users out of 10 are using AI in a different form factors. It can be in the zone of maybe editing, filters. It can also be in the zone of maybe any kind of suggestion that comes to you, rewriting or any text suggestions and many other things. When it comes to the evolution of camera, it started again around 2012-13 is when we started having the effects, the blur effect, which is what rightly been mentioned by Saurabh. And there are many other filters that started coming in. Now it is becoming more personalized day by day. So there are a lot of things that if I particularly talk about the camera innovation, so it is about the brightening up the image, making sure the images are being clicked rightly, even in the low light was one of the improvement. Couple of image auto enhance was also introduced by Motorola recently that enhances your photography skill, and you don't really need to go for different tools. So AI is something that is making your life easier rather than having multiple processes. It is optimized within the device is what is very important. So what we really focus is not really about AI as an innovation. We don't see it as an innovation. It has always been an innovation long back. What we try to see it as making the experience better day by day, whatever
Right.
that we are doing. A couple of examples that we are recently doing is AI image stabilization, which is stabilize your image even if you are in a movement and an object is also in the movement. So that's how you, how you cover that and how you maintain it well. Then AI image enhancer, like how you improvise on your images. There are a couple of innovation that is coming in the upcoming days. So what really happens if I use a camera,
Yeah.
and everybody has a different skin textures and different style of editing any image or seeing the image that they want to. And every time they have to do this process again and again. What if, with the help of AI, we can learn that what is the preference of this particular user. So personalization is extremely important and give the outcome basis on what kind of image you like as an outcome, and you don't need to edit it from the scratch. What if it can be edited instantly as soon as you click it? So there can be a lot of innovation that we are introducing and has been part of it, as I mentioned. One other interesting fact that we have done a research recently says that 81% of users within India prefers to use AI as an assistance also, that you tell anything and AI does it for you. You don't really have to do all the codings on anything. That's what is very important, which is why we need to make the AI very friendly and very like easy to use. So without even telling that this is basically an AI. So it is just a term, something that we have been using for a very long period. So how we can make it more relatable for the current consumers, for the maybe for Gen Z and millennials is the case.
So personalization, easy to use,
Yep.
and imaging is one of the key use cases. So we'll come to that later, Saurav. I think that leads us to a very interesting discussion of processing things on device versus on the cloud. And I think that's a very interesting topic that we can discuss for hours, right? So this is something which is, but before coming to that, I think now, if I may add one of a interesting use case which we recently encountered. We were there at Vishakhapatnam, and in one of the store, this gentleman came up and he was showing this very old picture of his colleagues who passed out in from a metric examination in 1968. That's a completely classic old picture, and 98% of that particular picture was blurred, right? And you can see the faces, but more or less blurred. And this the shopkeeper on this on that particular phone, and he suggested that I think I have an AI phone that can help you with this image. And what he did is he took a picture of that image. You got a AI came into picture that unblurred some of the elements of that, and believe you me, the difference between the previous and the actual picture was amazing. It was very realistic, very much there, and he immediately sent that picture to 8 of his colleagues in that WhatsApp group, and 7 out of that purchased that phone within a week. So that's a very basic use case. I think there is an entire thing of black box within AI, right? People do not understand because they do not understand the models behind it, what is happening. There is almost like one model launched every working day in 2024 in India, globally. And that is like 254 models. So it's very difficult to look at the space or make sure that what is happening in the AI world. But Prabhu, I'll come to you and try to make things even more simpler. I can see a lot of youngsters in the crowd, and they want to understand like how we can further break this. And you have been tracking this space very closely. From an industry perspective, how do you think that is currently shaping up the consumer experiences? Are we there yet, or do you see there will be some time frame you are attaching in your forecast for that?
So thank you so much, and really appreciate being here. Congratulations on 10 years. Just to come to that, like, the first point is like smartphones are the backbone of Indian economy, and I have to stress on that fact, primarily because whatever we do, it's on the smartphone, whether it be the education, the work that we do, or the entertainment that we have. And as we speak, and the audience that we have, primarily digital natives, they are, as Saurabh said, they're always ahead of the curve. At Cyber Media Research, our research has pointed out that these cohorts are much more advanced and nuanced in their understanding of tech, in really grasping what AI posits for them, And when we look at the onset of all of these new wave of Gen AI smartphones over the last 2 years, and this year in particular, I'm very much excited about the possibilities therein. We are very early stage right now, but from a consumer point of view, they are excited. Girish touched upon some of those use cases. When we look at the purchase consideration, camera still tops it, And within that, it's always about the personalization using AI, You did mention that particular feature which you saw in Visakhapatnam. That's something I have been trying out fairly early on. Now, thanks to AI, I can accelerate it much more as such, Have been experimenting it quite often now, But where we are right now, if we were, again, pointing from a research perspective as such, the insights that we have, 83% of consumers are very much aware of all of these smartphones which are available. There is a clear transition happening from hype to mainstream, But it's also important to acknowledge the fact that curiosity is driving most of these use cases, primarily from the consumer point of view, whether it be text summarization or transliteration, or for that matter, all of these creative pursuits that we have on camera as such, It's still a stage away from curiosity moving to what I call as consistency. There is a gap there, and that gap is something which we will see, hopefully, as AI use cases mature and more meaningful use cases come around, beyond text and images the way we are. The next 2 years would be crucial in that aspect.
Okay,
Yeah.
so 2 years is something you are putting in terms of use case adoption from the consumer perspective. I think, I'm not sure if we have Akis right now joining virtually from London with us. We can ask question to him. So he has been waiting patiently. Thank you, Akis. Great to see you in person.
Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
Hi from
So,
London.
yeah, question to you, Akis. I think nothing has built a very unique brand identity, I think, in a very short time frame. And I'm sure you might be seeing the AI playing a very important role in that. I would like to hear your views on how AI is impacting from the overall design and development from nothing devices perspective, if you can shed some light on that.
Yeah, for sure. I guess, just kind of taking a step back, there's been, I think across users, a lot of confusion around AI. Of course, AI has been used for quite some time, as people just kind of mention, especially when it comes to kind of photography. But we think that the opportunity is actually a much, much bigger one. If you think about it, the smartphone experience hasn't sort of drastically changed, right? It's very kind of app-based and kind of siloed in a way, which brings actually a lot of friction. And basically, what kind of AI will enable and kind of is to kind of redefine the user interface in a way. When, for instance, very basic use cases, scenarios like, for instance, checking on the plane or taking a plane, you need to open different apps, kind of look for your data across different mediums. Whereas with AI, you will be able to kind of consolidate everything into an interface which will be highly contextualized and personalized. So, something that would take eventually maybe 10 to 20 steps. For instance, again, when you kind of take a plane, you need to check in, download your boarding pass, order your Uber to go to the airport and so on. Think about a very intuitive, personalized, and highly contextual user interface that will enable you to kind of take actions within, just a few clicks versus kind of opening the different apps. And for us at Nothing, I think that's where we kind of really focusing. Of course, AI is going to be used across camera and all that in the background, but almost the user doesn't really need to know, right? He just needs to click great pictures. But for us, where we're more interested is thinking of this new interface, that AI will enable. So for instance, now we have taken a gradual approach. On the Phone 3a series, there is an N-1 screen with a dedicated hardware button, where basically this acts almost as a second brain, where you kind of dump any sort of, information, screenshots, any thoughts that come onto you, and sort of it helps you organize, kind of trigger action in a quite kind of dynamic way. So we're starting with this, and then gradually, as the NPUs and kind of leveraging an hybrid model versus on and off devices kind of becomes even more advanced, we'll be able to kind of merge that gradually into the main OS. And I think that's where we're quite excited about it, because at Nothing we've been continuously challenging first the design of the smartphone from a hardware standpoint. And basically what that has done, it has sort of trained our innovation muscle kind of to really question and redefine the user experience. And now it's been really fun leveraging AI, how this kind of future user interface of the smartphone would look like, and how it can be a lot more intuitive for the user. So yeah, something we kind of quite excited. We introduced that with the Phone 3 series, and gradually we'll start kind of building on it.
Cool. Yes, exciting times ahead. I think if you have not noticed, like there was one common phrase in all of your answers that was on personalization. Like our experiences on our smartphones will be more personalized. I think, and when we are looking at it, there are multiple ways to achieve that personalization on your smartphones. There will be a knowledge graph, how you interact with your phones. Then a lot of these questions comes to the consumer's mind about where this data resides in. Again, sort of coming back to you on our discussion of, now this open up a lot of these questions on being on device versus using these use cases on cloud. How are you seeing these discussions shaping up within Qualcomm? I know we were at MWC a couple of weeks back. Qualcomm gave an interesting demonstration of on-device chain of thought reasoning models, but I would love to hear more from you on those discussions between on-device versus cloud.
A lot of things started happening with the AI, and then everything earlier was on a cloud. We are bringing now closer to you on device. So all the enhancements that Qualcomm we are doing on, empowering your device. Your device will be more powerful, bringing on your personalized experiences. Although we do understand everything cannot be done on your device, that's the reason we have, chip to cloud security. So whatever things your phone is capable of doing on device, it will do on your device, which are not possible. Then obviously, like you ask for a help, you know everything, but at times it's beyond your imagination, or your knowledge. You ask for a help. So similarly, there are a few things which will be done on the cloud, but the emphasis is to do on your device. A lot of personalizations. I hope you saw that demo we did in MWC this year. Think of ordering a coffee, right? When you go to a restaurant maybe 10, 15, 20 times, and you meet the same server who serves you a coffee or a dish, he knows your preferences. What do you want? For an example, you like a double shot coffee without sugar. What size? So if you have to order a coffee, just you have to say, hey, order my favorite coffee. So you don't have to go step by step. Hey, I want a large one, double shot, no sugar, or whatever. So you don't have to do all these steps. You just order a coffee and your favorite coffee will be there. So it's so personalized, right? It's like you have your assistant in your pocket. I'm just thinking whether it will remove your admins in your offices. So things are improving day by day. You touched upon, we talked about, the use cases. Obviously, a lot of enhancements has been done on the camera side, as he was also telling, the cameras, the skin tones and everything. But there are other use cases also coming. Think of noise cancellation, right? You're in a busy environment. So AI, with the help of AI, he knows your voice, it will cancel the background noise. It's a simple use cases, but it is possible because of your on-device AI. There are many examples, right, what you can do with your devices. So I think there are people are working on bringing the new use cases. There are going to be exciting times ahead. As a technology enabler, we empower our OEM with hardware and software to bring use cases, but we are working with the developer ecosystem as well. That's why we have a Qualcomm AI Hub, where right now 150 models people go upload on our Qualcomm chipsets and optimize it. And on those models, there will be use cases running. So think of it, there are already 150 models are being optimized on Qualcomm chipsets. So each model will bring maybe it's a multiplying factor. How many use cases are in the pipeline?
Correct. Very interesting. I think, let me summarize so what you are potentially saying, so you have AI use cases that are like backend in the device that is like improving your network, improving your battery or something on, and then you have front-end AI use cases, and then those will be bifurcated on device versus cloud. Both are here to stay. And you mentioned about some of this ecosystem enablers. What you guys have been doing is bringing those models from the developer community and make sure those are compatible with your chipsets. And then they will create a lot of use cases, chain of thought, reasoning, and sophisticated use cases going forward.
I mean, those use cases are going to be optimized for performance as well as power. Because when you run those, the power becomes very important and critical, right? You don't want to lose battery of your phone. If you continue working, running models on the cloud, latency is one thing, the other is power consumption of your phone.
Yes.
So on-device AI is helping on your performance, battery, and obviously the personalization.
Right. And very important, and since we are in this AI topic, we can discuss what DeepSeek has done, like, so it is all about the compute and the training and how they have trained this 76 billion model with the resources what they got, and that is where we are heading. So coming back more from the supply chain point of view to the end consumer point of view, Girish, again, the question is, one of the biggest pain point when we do our research with consumers, what they say is there's a lot of things that is happening on the creating some kind of supply. This is more on the NVIDIAs of the world. 80% of the revenue lies there, right? And Qualcomm will sort of, they are better off on that side of things. But if you come towards this side of things, which is more on the edge, more on the consumer side, there is practically no revenue models or use cases in a sense which are still evolving. How you see this transition right now happening? Will OEMs will have greater say, or there any customization you are doing with the value chain companies and making sure this is coming to life faster than we expected?
Yeah, when it comes to any particular industry, let's say the smartphone industry, we also need to understand what is the practicality,
Yes.
like how we can optimize it, and what is something that we need to go step by step as a process. I mean, there can be a lot of demand that is coming to us, so we have to decide what needs to be pulled and what needs to be pushed. So it's a demand and supply game, to be honest.
Yeah.
When it comes to generating the revenue, there are a lot of streams that we obviously that is there. Again, won't be able to discuss what are the exact things are. But yeah, there are things that is coming up in the upcoming days. Demand and supply game is already on. When it particularly comes to the smartphone is an industry, again, making it very personal, making it more efficient to the people. So there is one personality trait that we have analyzed is why anything about AI is being requested is because people want to flaunt, people want to stand out from what they are doing and how they are able to make their impression in front of the people.
Right.
And it's also very important how we can make them do this with the help of any smartphone as a brand. So yeah, providing the solution, it can be the solution like Catch Me Up, where things are there, a lot of notifications are there. You are able to basically summarize it in a one single mail. Let's say I just boarded to the flight. When I got down, there was 100 plus messages, texts, and things were pending. It could summarize in 1 minute what all the key things are. And that's how you could say, if there is anything that you want to remember and recall, you can do it. So there are a lot of specification that would be coming in the upcoming days, solving the consumers' core problems. And from solving to the core problems, we'll also go to how we can make their productivity enhance even way forward. So that's the thing.
And this is interesting because the OEMs are looking at it a very different way, more from a personalization and the use case, like you mentioned, step by step. So I think it's a very connecting question. What we wanted to ask Rakesh as well is, there is also a larger debate on assistance versus this on-device, what apps are going to play a larger role. So Rakesh, from Nothing's perspective, how do you see this assistance evolving over a period of time, let's say in 1 year, 2 years down the line? We have seen there is a lot of focus back to this assistance on the devices going forward.
Yeah, I think, I mean, over kind of the past year or so, we've seen kind of dedicated NPUs that are a lot kind of more performant to support on-device AI computing. And I think, you know, as we kind of move forward and within the sort of next 2 to 5 years, we'll have a lot more kind of dependence in terms of on-device, especially as we're kind of shifting towards a multimodal AI experience, right? Because now it's just basically leveraging some of the data on your phone, but ultimately as kind of wider product ecosystem are being built, where you can have voice input, gesture, or even visual inputs. This will be able to kind of compute on device, which is also kind of more rapid and really kind of serve the user in a highly kind of, again, personalized and context-aware manner. So for instance, I've been a lot of trying to train for a marathon nowadays, and I've been kind of being quite careful with my diet. And I need to kind of input my calorie counts, and it's quite a manual process. But think about it like in the future, if you had like always on sort of visual input, by some sort of camera, the sort of calorie count could kind of happen on the spot without even you thinking about it. And AI will help you kind of to maybe, bring you more suggestions on what you should kind of adapt, change. And I think, yeah, that won't happen, within a short period of time. But I think over the sort of, 3 to 5 years, I think we shift towards the user experience, like that will be leveraging all those different inputs and again, sort of further enhancing a highly personalized and context-aware experience. And again, sort of walking away from this kind of app-led era where it's quite kind of siloed in a way.
Right, right. And interesting, like, because when we were at MWC, we heard this word agentic like multiple times, right? And I think we are heading there. We are heading into an agentic era. So by definition, agentic means when your machines will be as good as what humans do, and they will help you in your daily routines, making your devices even more personalized. And now this is like the almost like second half of our conversations. So I will again deep dive into further, like we have heard about use cases, we have heard about how currently the entire ecosystem is looking at it. But then there is a larger trend that is shaping the entire fundamental thing, and that has been the changes that are happening every day. So there is, like I said, there is a model being launched almost every day. There are tons of updates that are coming to the different models. But most of this discussion, if we talk about smartphones, is largely onto the high-end phones, right? But the real adoption of AI will happen only when we talk about things that are more diffusing these features into the mid-tier devices. So maybe, Girish, I'll start with you. So again, there is a discussion between this on-device versus cloud. But to take this technology and diffuse it towards the mass market, towards the mid-tier, what steps or things, what Motorola is looking into it, and how you see these things changing going forward?
Sure, sure. I think very, very interesting point to definitely talk about. As I mentioned, 9 out of 10 people are already using AI without even knowing that they are part of the loop. I think what is extremely important is the kind of AI diversification we have done. And as you rightly mentioned, most of the advanced AI feature are there with the premium phones. When I say premium, then price about 20,000 to 30,000 and goes up to 1 lakh rupees and all. How we can really make it for masses is what is the core challenge, and how we can make it, plus what all the features that can be accessible to all slowly, because it always, brings down from that, like let's say the tier 1 devices, always say the premium devices to the affordable devices. Making a phone that is all-rounder, maybe even at the price of maybe 10K or so, is extremely challenging, and we are also innovating, and it is challenging because not because of the technology. Technology is available, it does not really cost a lot. What also matters a lot when it comes to the product is what is the capacity, RAM, ROM, to the processor, to the power consumption, and people would also expect that the processing has to be super fast. So how we can optimize and make it like an all-rounder device, which is AI enabled, is equal to what is the premium flagship, is extremely very, very important. What we are trying to do is to understand what kind of innovation we can bring together with the help of the chip manufacturers, not just the chip manufacturer, plus if we can have a version that is being supported for the entry-level devices is also very, very important. So a lot of features, so camera is something that we started doing in the experiment. We were very successful. From there, the camera has been the AI in camera is now accessible in sub 10K devices also. There are things like AI assistance. That is also, we are trying to bring it down to the affordable prices with the help of the different partners that we have. Plus, also we are trying to develop a lot of AI in-house. That is also very important because there we have the capability to make it and mold it the way we want to, and something that complements our devices. There were a lot of AI features that came to us via Google Gemini, particularly. It was a Google feature. What we are also trying to do along with that is to also build something that is our own, has our patent, and makes the life sorted and has extremely good performance that can solve the people's expectations. So there are a couple of steps that we are taking.
Very interesting, especially on the in-house, the Moto AI, what you're doing. So from a chipset perspective, how do you see this, the mid-tier and diffusing of these features going forward?
So AI is not limited to the premium tier from a Qualcomm point of view. We want maximum people to utilize the power of on-device AI. So we, if you go back a year back, we brought in on-device AI capabilities on our high-end devices. That's a 700 tier. Last month, we announced 6 Gen 4. That's a mass tier. That also has AI capabilities. Snapdragon 6 Gen 4 also has AI capabilities. Obviously, the AI capability will differ, over the tiers, but the idea is to bring the flavor of on-device AI across the board. So we are also not limiting this on-device AI to phones. You have seen the announcements. We have AI capabilities in our automotive segment. We have on-device AI in our XR glasses as well. We announced compute platforms. Even our entry-tier Snapdragon X platform is capable of running 45 trillion operations per second on device. So you don't really need to depend on the cloud. Everything you can do on the device. So we are bringing on-device experiences across the board. In fact, in our modems too, the modem will be intelligent enough to work in a congested network and adapt itself. So across the board, on-device AI, we want more and more people to experience the benefit it brings on board.
Right. So Prabhu, to you, just in the sense of better framing this question, so we can technically go down till $200 or $150, and we have seen that the cloud phone from Deutsche Telekom as well. So what is exactly the price point you are seeing? Like Saurabh mentioned, we are not limiting it to like premium. It's not a premium story. From where this story actually starts and how big that segment could be going forward?
I mean, again, fairly early stage right now, like premium is where the action is, but as Saurabh was also mentioning, our research points out that value for money, that segment is something where we will see more action happening this year. That's a 7,000 to 25,000 price range. As AI features diffuse in, there is that mass of smartphones built in for the ecosystem to pick on. But interesting to note, as I was saying earlier, curiosity to continuity, from user behavior point of view. That's against, even today, when the early adopters, the digital natives, they are using AI from an assistive, one-off kind of task as such, So they are going from task to task. So as this ecosystem matures, we are still those 2 to 3 years away from moving from that assistive to the autonomous era, the way we would want to call it. So while those small agents come in, there are those specialized tasks and everything coming in, it's all about AI becoming more personal, private, and also the privacy getting secured. In terms of the question that you had, I seriously feel like there would be some breakthroughs coming in the mass tier, the below 10,000 as well, but we have to wait for that. So right now it's more the 7 to 25 is where the action would be.
Yeah, and interesting you mentioned task to task, I think, and also we are entering into somewhere where these models are changing from transformer models to more reasoning-based models. So now what we can do is we can reason with them, and maybe next year when we have this panel, we have another chair with an AI assistant asking questions and seeing what kind of replies. So going back to Akis, if you're still there with us, so I think that's one brand that has gained a lot of attention. If we have Akis connected with us right now, or?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm
So
here.
just wanted to understand your experience as well. You have great bunch of devices. You have recently introduced the 3A series. Initial reception has been great. What are your key two takeaways in terms of AI? Because you have seen that learning curve happening from the consumer side, from consumers' point of view. So want to understand what are the initial uptick you are seeing in those devices, especially from the AI perspective.
No, again, I think for us, our approach has been quite a gradual approach. With the 3 series, we're focusing on very kind of specific use cases, almost to kind of get people to realize the added value in terms of what a new user interface could look like. And so we released Essential Space as an early access version, and it has been quite refreshing in terms of, one, feedback being quite positive, but also having this kind of improvement feedback loop in terms of new features and integration on how we can further push Essential Space. And I think having this gradual approach allows the user to kind of educate themselves and start kind of envisioning what the future could look like in terms of that new user interface when it comes to the smartphone. So for us, again, we sort of just started this journey with the 3 series, and gradually we'll be kind of further introducing more and more features and product as part of this N-1 screen. And when it comes to your sort of previous question in terms of, how does that look like across the whole product portfolio? Of course, there are some kind of, NPUs limitation, and, depending on a more flagship device and a flagship chipset, you'll be able to do more. But our approach as well is to try and democratize this as much as possible. So as long as there won't be any hardware constraints, we'll be bringing all those kind of AI features onto all our, across all our entire portfolio.
And just one add-on to this, I think we love this thing. I think we heard Carl say that, are we heading into an era where there will be no more apps? It will be agents or something. Any take on that?
No, for sure. Again, I think the smartphone experience, I don't know, like 10 years ago, it felt magic to be able to order a taxi from your phone. But now if you kind of break this down, you understand that there is maybe 10 steps. You need to kind of put your location, put your PIN, where you have to go, and so on. Whereas all this data is present in your smartphone, right? And, what takes, again, like 10 different steps in terms of ordering that cab and going to your destination could be just one single click. And that's where the sort of more agentic user experience will come into play versus this very siloed app-based experience. And if you think about it, how we've been using smartphones has drastically changed, right, in the past kind of 10, 15 years. Our whole life is dependent on this. And if anything, your device knows you better in a way. So sometimes you find yourself in a scenario where you kind of have a mental burden about, thinking about things, or, oh, I need to do this, and that. Whereas the sort of a more agentic model will be a lot more proactive and intuitive in a way. And I think that's where we kind of quite excited, because we're definitely seeing this app-led experience being a bit redundant in a way. And we're having a lot of fun in terms of thinking of what, again, this kind of new user interface would look like.
Super. Very, very interesting. So I'll conclude with this, just one-liner each from each one of you. In terms of, so again, we have been discussing this AI for almost like a year. One thing that is very clearly visible is the entire AI hype train is approaching the reality station. I think we are into a world where it is coming, it is almost there, and we are entering into meaningful use cases for future. So just, Girish, every one of you summarizing in one line, the one use case you guys are very, very excited to in the next 1 year on the AI in smartphones?
I think what we are very excited to see the response actually.
Which one?
So the responses of the consumer, the AI
Okay.
that we are bringing. So I think that's very exciting. So we are also experimenting with a lot of features that might be helpful for all of our consumer base. I think what we want to see is, so where we started is basically with the Gen AI.
Okay.
From the generative AI to the core of AI, and then it is becoming the AI assistant. So there are 3 generations of AI that we have seen in last 1 year, which is way big. I mean, that's unimaginable if I talk about really couple of years back. From just creating a lookalike things to just from the creating a, I would say the AI model of yours to making it to the productive features, and then from productive features to assistance. That in AI, so what you used to do it a year back is you used to train the AI to do things and tasks. Now it has become opposite to it, or becoming opposite to it, that AI is teaching you and guiding you. You are missing out on that. You should be doing this or that. So
And it's
this is the big thing that has changed in last 1.5 year, not too much.
Interesting. Sort of.
I'm very excited about the personalized AI assistants helping you. Just a personal experience. My friends always complain that I forget their birthdays. So what I have to do right now to put up an alarm for their birth dates, and then alarm clicks in, then I call them. I mean, there are ways where you send all your information to the cloud, and then there will be, alarms or reminders. I want them to be personalized and have their on phone. So I'm looking forward to those kind of
Very
personalized
interesting use
experiences.
case.
I spend close to 16 hours on my phone. The average Indian spends, I think, around 6 to 8 hours. So if there's one real killer use case, it's about me getting my life back with streamlined use cases on my phone, thanks to AI. That's what my ideal wish would be.
Okay, cool. Okay,
Yeah, I think for me, what I'm again really excited is about kind of eradicating all kind of the friction that happens in the day-to-day tasks. Again, as simple as getting a flight. So having those kind of agentic models that will do every single thing for you in terms of checking in, bringing the sort of QR code at the on the home page, a click away from ordering your cab, so you don't have to kind of jungle between all the different apps and again, in 2 clicks, you do what you would have done in maybe 10, 15 clicks, and also thinking about all this logistics in your head. So I think that's what I'm the most excited about.
It's about saving time as well. There are almost like 7 billion smartphones on the planet, and imagine if we save 1 hour per day using AI, that's a lot of billion hours being saved. Again, thank you, gentlemen. I think one thing that is key takeaway from this session is AI is going to be more personal. It's not something that is distant. It is already here. And it's just a matter of time when we'll see those personalized killer use cases that are going to develop. And thanks to the ecosystem players like Qualcomm, Motorola, and Nothing, and we, Prabhu, we have a lot of responsibility in making sure that we track and size this market. We need to size that model every day that is coming and launching. And it has been a very patient audience. Thank you so much for your time and attention. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Mhm. Thank you, Tarun, and our esteemed panelists on such an insightful discussion on AI and smartphones. So we begin our next discussion. Now we shift our focus on our next panel discussion, AI-driven product innovation, shaping the future of consumer electronics. This session will explore how AI is redefining home appliances, security solutions, and smart living ecosystems. Moderating this discussion is Prabhu Ram, who is a Vice President of Cyber Media Research, CMR. Please join me in welcoming our esteemed panelists, Mr. Jatinder Singh, Head of Marketing, Home Appliances, LG India, Major General Rajesh Arya, Head of Business and Training Development, CP+, Ms. Irina Bonik, Marketing Director, Oriflame, and Mr. Mohit Anand, Honeywell. Prabhu, over to you. Thank you.
Thank you, and welcome again. This is great to be here. 10 glorious decades, 10 glorious years of this decade for NDTV Gadgets360. Really excited about this panel in particular, especially because we did touch upon how AI is real in the last one. We are going to change gears in this one, talking about how AI really impacts us in different ways, more ways than one. Now, as an analyst, my role is to really connect the dots and see how and where AI is going. And as an average consumer, you might, and this is very much true for my wife, for instance, she always believed this is a hype cycle. 2 years back, I was talking of metaverse. Now I'm talking of AI. My task in this panel in particular is to really stress on the fact that AI is very much here. It has been here for a long time. All of these, esteemed panelists have been leveraging AI across their industries in various ways than one. To begin with, I want to really frame this in a way that this panel, we are going to go from the self all the way to the industry. When I say self, it means beauty, health, and wellness. And the reason why I'm going from there is that I am someone who lives with 3 generations of strong females at home. I also, whatever I have in my personal and professional lives, it's all been driven by powerful women as such. And the one thing that I've learned from them is that health, wellness, and beauty is very much personal. What works for someone won't work for somebody else as such, And that's where I'll turn to my first guest. Oriflame is been really leveraging AI across the board. We would very much appreciate how much of AI plays a big role in beauty and health and wellness.
So in the first place, we use AI in our daily business routine, and it saves a lot of time. But now we decided to come up with something futuristic. As you all know, fragrances is a lot about the mood and the impression that it gives. So on 1st April, we're launching our first product, which is created with help of AI. And I'm extremely excited to see the results, because how it was created is basically the perfumer creates the basic formula, and then we input the feelings that this scent has to evoke in consumer's mind. And then the AI tool analyzes an incredible amount of formulas already existing and coming up with some innovative twist. So on 1st April, we're launching our first unisex and first AI-generated perfume scope in India. And it will be very interesting to see how it will perform. But even more than that, we also are stepping in this area when it comes to skincare, which is our biggest expertise on the market right now. And we have different segments in skincare. You name it, we have it. Like skin barrier, we do have it. Anti-aging, we do have it. But now we realized a very big segment of the market is dedicated to skincare that women need during their menopause. And we have created the formula using the AI as well, choosing the best and the most efficient ingredients in this field. For sure, it's all backed up with lab tests and clinically proven, but this is also something that we will bring in future. And I believe it's a big area right now because especially in India, a lot of brands are coming up with the new formulas. So I feel it's a giant area when it comes to formula creation, where AI will play a very big role in the future.
And I really appreciate, and something which the Oriflame CEO also pointed out some time back, it's beauty and science, it's very specific to individuals, so appreciate all of what you said. I will change gears and move to something which is very close to us, which is security. Security itself is changing paradigms like anything. We are entering an era where it's not just enough to have access to those surveillance cameras and all of the data as such. It's also about having those predictive intelligence being built in, So CP Plus has been at the forefront of that. Would love to understand more in terms of how they are looking at leveraging AI in their product strategies as such. So over to you, sir.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you, NDTV. And it's so glad to see such a young crowd here on this Gadget 360 10 years. I feel out of place. But yes, security has become not a domain of a security professional. It has become a daily need or one of the essentials. Sorry for my bad throat today. Like you need food, like you need light, like you need water. Today, in day-to-day life, the security has become an essential part of our life. Because the technology is changing the life at such a fast pace that if you're not careful with anything you're doing, anything, not your personal self, even use of technology if you're doing it, you are likely to fall prey to a security breach or a security accident, I would call it. And that is the reason for a security people like us or we in the electronic security like CP+, it has become a challenge. I'll give you a very small example of my experience with electronic security. I was there in CP+ after my military service when Earthquake happened in 2019. And you just saw today, many of you wouldn't have noticed at that time, but many of you just must have witnessed on your social media or in your news channels, you would have witnessed the Mahakumbh just a couple of weeks back. In Earthquake, we were there as part of the electronic security company, right? And I remember that time, we had about around 6,000 to 7,000 cameras installed in that facility to ensure security and monitoring of that. What AI has done is, what Prabhu asked is, this time the Kumbh was almost 10 times of that era, Earthquake of 2019. That time we had just about 6-7 crore people visiting it. This time we had 60 crore people. We had 1/3 of the cameras deployed for the security, and which was much better than 6 years back. That time we had about 6,000 cameras deployed there, and this time we had just about 2,700 cameras deployed, all AI enabled. All AI enabled. So what was the technology advancement in those cameras was, first of all, they were high resolution. Second, they had an embedded technology, software technology of crowd management, people counting, heat map, and there are many such technologies in the security cameras coming in, which are all there. And that is why you could get almost daily figures that how many people have visited today. There were feed coming to a control center which was automatically collecting the data from 2,700 cameras and collating it and giving it to the authorities. So you had a very correct, and all these cameras had a accuracy of above 98% in people counting. That means he can mix only 1 to 2 guys out of 100 in a correction. And they also count coming in and coming out. So that is where the AI is going. Coming to home user or a consumer, I can again tell you, because I've been with CP Plus for a long time, about 8-9 years. We started a home consumer series of camera. It was a DIY series of cameras, which everybody could use it. Normal people, like especially the younger generation who have everybody working in the home, and they needed a security back home, and they also wanted their viewing on their mobile phones for the ease and all that, visiting in office. About 4 years back, we launched a series called Easy Cam series. You just pick up the camera, buy it from the market, and just plug it, and it starts working. There is a handbook in that can tell you what is the setting in that. That was a very simple camera costing about 1,200 rupees or something like that. As the influx of the AI, the demand increased for a lot of other, enablers, I would call them. AI is actually an enabler today, right? And it is being bombarded so fast in our lives is that everybody wanted, why can't I get this? Why can't I get that? And we started, I think we are the first one in the security industry. We established our AI cell 2 years back. I've got 6 engineers working on developing my AI for the electronic video surveillance industry, right? And my job as a business development and a chief trainer is to what do I teach my security established guys, that how the AI is going to change their viewing or surveillance and all that. So that is a very big challenge. But yes, we are trying to make the life easier. We are trying to make the security available to everybody at the cheapest cost. That is what is our objective is. And we have to, develop our own AI enablers to suit our environments. Let me tell you, every time we have been lagging or trying to catch the technology, it is time that India, with a generation like you, we should be leading in the technology. We have done it in the digital technology. We are the fastest in adopting digitization in the world. We are the fastest. The advanced worlds are trying to copy our digitization model like Aadhaar. Like, we are the first ones to have our passports system, application of passport system digitized. So that is what you guys have to do it, and that's what we're doing it.
Thank you, sir. We will switch gears to, again, digital natives. As I mentioned, they are fairly at the forefront when it comes to looking for personalization, in terms of looking for efficiencies and so on. So when we look at the smart home, it's no longer what we could call as an alien concept. More and more digital natives are seeking personalized choices. LG is here. Jatinder, if you could just talk to me in terms of how much of a role AI is playing in, consumer choices, in terms of what you are doing, that would be great. Yeah.
Sure. So I think I just came into this room just a few minutes ago, and I saw a lot of people talk about personalization. So personalization is not being limited to like the way the subject that we have is electronic products, but thankfully they've invited this young lady, which is talking about AI being used beyond just the electronic products into beauty, healthcare, and other things as well. I think you youngsters are exposed to AI being something that you're using, which is software-based. ChatGPT you're using, you're treating as AI. But AI is beyond just giving you solutions which are software-based. For example, in the home appliances segment, AI enables you to give benefits which basically are more energy efficient, which provide personalized experience to you. For example, AI television. Now, AI television gives you experience which is, basis your preferences, basis the room size, basis what's the ambient lighting, will adjust the lighting accordingly, will adjust the sound accordingly. It will remember, what are the kind of content that you watched, so, it will curate content basis, your experience. Likewise on appliances, there are, for example, like a convertible AC or AI AC. That again, measures the room size. It, measures, the energy consumption patterns and basically varies the speed of, the compressor, and hence, it's more energy efficient. It provides you comfort and convenience, which is basis your particular, user behavior. Right? And so on and so forth. Likewise, in washing machine, we have AIDD, which detects the fabric weight and type, and gives a, a superior fabric care. So AI is, and home appliances is slightly a passive category. Smartphones are a more exciting category where you experience, AI, through various things that you do use during the day. Appliances slightly passive category, but of course, there's a lot more that we are doing, in, creating features which deliver both, user-based, performances and capabilities, better energy efficiencies. And we're also working towards, creating smart homes, devices which talk to each other. So it's about creating ecosystems where, a refrigerator can talk to washing machine, your mobile device is connected to various devices inside your home. You've, just seen the beginning of it. Of course, with the years to come, you'll see, something, ecosystems, in which all the devices in your home talk to each other. You even right now see your, lighting or even switches, which are Alexa or Google Assistant based. Likewise, you'll see a lot more appliances, which basically, which will enable all the devices to talk to each other.
And that's something which our research also points out. 60% of digital natives that we surveyed recently, they are very much looking for things like personalization, energy efficiency when it comes to consumer appliances. And it's not a joke. You can already feel the Delhi summer in the bones as such, So as we move into the heavy Delhi summer, you can assume how much of those choices will start dictating when it comes to technologies like AI and, driving energy efficiencies and so on. From all of these, let me move to what we call as the industrial AI. And that's something, again, our research points out that more and more CIOs are excited about the possibilities. At Cyber Media Research, we did a research some time back. What we found that AI is being leveraged across the board, not just from consumer experience point of view, but also for predictive maintenance as well as analytics and so on the shop floor. So let me get Mohit into the conversation. Honeywell has been at the forefront of this. Could you talk more about how you're leveraging AI, make sense for the digital natives here?
Yeah, thanks first of all to NDTV and to all the other panelists for their insightful comments. Basically, if you look at the topic here, the topic is about how artificial intelligence is now becoming pervasive or shaping the future of consumer electronics. And I think for us to really take a stab at that, what we need to do is take a step back. We've had what we call ICT devices across consumer electronics for a bit, which were, things that connected or were able to connect to a wireless network or a wired network that allowed you to then use your smartphone via an app to control that device. That's the genesis of how this all started. But really where this goes next is how does AI really make an impact on these consumer electronics is where it's key. And I think there are 2 or 3 bits to that. One, there is the bit that was referred about how it helps production on the shop floor and makes all of that efficient. But more from a consumer standpoint, which is what we're talking about here, there are 2 or 3 things that are going to happen. One, personalization was touched upon, but personalization is based on your user experience. What about your physiological factors? So for example, let's paint a scenario that you're wearing a smartwatch, as a lot of you may be, and it is able to detect what your physiological levels are and then tune a set of consumer electronics in your home, whether it's lighting, whether it's music, whether it's air purification, whether it's air conditioning, to your physiological level predictively. Now, that's where the magic of AI comes in, really, right? Where instead of me being able to go into an app and then switch stuff around, the device was able to use data real time across the cloud, or if we call it edge AI, where it was able to not depend on the cloud either, and use that data to be able to predictively change the settings of your devices to fit your physiological profile or your mood or whatever. So example again, right? Let's say we are on the move. A lot of us are under constant pressure now for time to be more productive, so we are always on the go. And at the same time, we want information at any place, any device. Now, how can that parlance over from an AI perspective into consumer electronics, which may be, again, more personal in nature, whether it's a pair of simple headphones. If you've heard about Auracast coming down the line a year on the Android system, or what Apple has just launched as lossless audio, these are technologies that are shaping the future of artificial intelligence by building native intelligence into your devices that allow it to predict and act while you don't need to go in and click a few buttons on your smartphone. And that's where the ethics of it also comes into place, I think. Because one of the things is, how much control do you want to give that device? Do you want to remain in control and let it be an asset to assist, or do you want to give it full control? And I think those are choices and ethical dilemmas that brands like ours and many others are going to face. So that's my 2 cents worth.
Thank you so much. Irina, if I can come back to you again, like hyper-personalization is really the key when it comes to consumers, and that's something I spoke about from my own personal experience. Again, as you look towards the future, AI, how much of that would play a role in really marketing, from an Oriflame perspective?
If to talk about the major application that I see for our company, for example, it's for sure product recommendation. If you don't have any significant skin concerns, most probably as a consumer, you will not go to dermatologist for skincare recommendation. And then it becomes extremely dangerous to just try everything left, right, center. So then when it comes to product recommendation, AI can read your face and detect the basic features and recommend which skincare products are suitable for your skin. As a company, we are already using this technology for our premium skincare range, which is focusing on anti-aging. And in the future, we're also committed to go more deep into details and work more on the chatbot recommendations, more personalization when it will recommend personally for you the entire holistic beauty basket that you can find on our website.
And if you were to fast forward, in a couple of years from now, what would all of this really look like, for the consumer who is really, digital savvy, what would Oriflame provide them as such, in terms of all of this skincare that you're talking about, the personalization that you touched upon?
In general, as I said, we will be focusing a lot on the recommendation tool, because as a brand, we have a very wide portfolio. Because we're a brand for everyone, and hence the choice fatigue becomes a very big obstacle. And then having a tool that can provide a very focused recommendation based on your preferences, based on your skin type, your needs, and your, holistic beauty targets, it will be extremely precious. And then, as I mentioned already, when it comes to product creation, we'll see how it goes, but I feel there's a big space for development there.
Thank you. Jatinder, if I could come to you, predictive maintenance as such in terms of appliances,
Yeah.
After sales is always a big thing in Indian consumers. They are always looking for how we can navigate this entire
Absolutely.
path. So what much of a role AI plays here? How is LG looking into this play in this particular
Yeah,
domain?
so if you look at appliances, there are a couple of features which already exist. No, I'll talk specifically in case of LG, something like a smart diagnosis. For example, if there's some problem with your appliance, you would normally call up the helpline and and diagnose what the problem is. But through an application, whether you're using a refrigerator or a washing machine, the smart diagnosis will tell you what the problem is and if it's something that you can resolve. For example, in a washing machine, if the pipe is clogged, the smart diagnosis will automatically tell you this is what you need to do, to be able to resolve that, So that feature already exists, and obviously this is right now at a basic level. It also gives you, tips on maintenance, or example, if the filter needs to be changed, it will tell you, when that needs to be done. There are other brands, which I can talk about, which even in refrigerator you can feed in, when did you, store a particular, apple or something, and it will tell you in how many days, it is due, either to be, to be used, So even those things also exist, in other, with other manufacturers. Then we have something called a smart learner, which basically is there in air conditioners, it's there in refrigerators particularly, which basically automatically detects the usage pattern of the refrigerator. It detects how many times you open the refrigerator, it detects how much ice have you consumed, and at what temperature are you operating, and it automatically, adjusts the temperature of, or the compressor speed, and the back end, which basically delivers better energy efficiency, and it also delivers, better freshness, of the products that you, store inside the refrigerators. So these are some things which already exist, but obviously, as we speak, there are, more we are doing in terms of developing technology, which will be very, user experience based. That if I have kept something specific in a refrigerator and I want to know something, obviously you'll be able to know what is there in your refrigerator and what needs to be done, what action points that you need to be taken. Likewise, in a washing machine, what, depending on what are the kind of wash loads you, or the fabric type that you washed in the past, it will automatically tell you what's the, kind of wash cycle that, it needs to have. So those, both in terms of learning as well as maintenance features, already exist, and will obviously improvise, as in the years to come.
If I could quickly do a follow-up on that, like I've been stressing on this phrase digital natives,
Yeah.
because they are really at the forefront of everything. But beyond that cohort, are there other cohorts who are really adapting to this AI-fueled innovation as per you?
Obviously appliances is the core TA is slightly evolved, right? It's now the age group is about 25 years plus. The Gen Zs are not as involved in decision making, because the features or the product buy cycles are much higher, unlike a smartphone, which is a personalized device. So obviously, as we see, for example, we've launched a LG Mood Up refrigerator. Now that has about 1.7 lakh color combinations, and you can play music in that. You'll find products which are much more personalized, but it's a very expensive product. It's a 4 lakh rupees product. But obviously, we'll get products which are targeted at Gen Z, which you can personalize experience, like the light, the mood, the ambience that you want to set, or the music that you want to play. Over a period of time, there'll be voice assistant, which will enable you to talk to this thing, and be able to have a mood of the light of the fridge or the music that will play, or whatever you're storing inside, which is voice assistant based. So that obviously will, the Gen Z will start getting more involved depending on the kind of features and products that we bring in the appliances business.
As we look at the future from a CP Plus perspective, how do you see the future in terms of AI-enabled home security and so on? Do you see that really shaping up? We did touch upon it before in terms of the predictive part of it, but I would like to get a view in terms of what the next 4 to 5 years would look like.
See, any important technological development, it is always a disruptor in a status quo. There is no doubt about it. And every technological development let's take it and face it, it has a dual use. It has an adverse use and it has a positive use. Every technology, you see a development of nuclear technology which happened before this generation which is sitting here, it has a disruptive use and it has a productive use. Similarly is going to be AI. We are more concerned, every general population will see and use only the productive or enabling utility of the AI. But what is the destructive ability of this technology will have? If you see a lot of debates and a lot of high level or macro level discussion is happening, the governments or the higher organization are not allowing AI to be developed freely. It is only the concern of a negative application of those technologies. And that is what is also related to the security, that our cameras or our electronic surveillance, we are looking that we are able to prevent crime instead of detection of the crime. But while adopting AI into electronic surveillance or a video surveillance, we don't want everybody to get false alerts, false alarms. It will make the life of a control room or a responders very, very difficult. We have seen it. We had a technology coming called motion detection, that when a camera had a audio device that if anything moved in front of the camera, it used to give an alert. When we put it in somewhere, even a cat comes, it gives an alert. If a human comes, it gives an alert. Or if a dog comes, it gives an alert. It makes the user's life miserable. And that is what we are concerned about the AI, that how we make it a positive enabler than a disruptor. That is going to be biggest challenge for all of us. And that is what we are doing it. We have gone from that motion detection to called smart motion detection, that we only give an alarm when there is a human movement. It doesn't give an alarm when there is an animal movement or any other movement. So that is what we are looking at, and we are developing, because electronic surveillance industry is a very small industry. The AI which is coming, it is primarily coming for a very large spectrum of industries. I mean, it is going, like the chipset is being used in every part of the life today, every part of the life. And similarly, the AI is going to be used, IT is being used. So our industry is small, so we are developing our own applications, AI-based application, which we can embed in our devices, whether it is within the device or an edge device. But one caution is there. You keep adding any type of technology in anything, the next challenge or parallel challenge which is developing is data management. I mean, I use a smartphone, about 8 years old, which was just 32 GB. I have to clean my phone every week to continue to use it. I mean, I only make calls, but I sometimes click pictures or save a program. Today, my son uses a smartphone with 256 GB. So how are you going to every application I add into the camera, it is going to add into my storage challenge. Because ultimately, what we record in electronic surveillance is for the crime management. So when I need to retrieve the data from where I'm going to search from petabytes from gigabytes, we've gone to petabytes of storage in the video cameras. So that is going to be the big challenges which we face it.
I do have one quick follow-up to you. You mentioned privacy somewhere there. Like, when you talk of facial recognition, how much of that is a challenge going on, like, when we move forward? And how are we looking at addressing that?
Can you repeat your question? I missed the word.
When you look at facial recognition, there is that entire question of privacy coming up, so how do we address that?
Oh, yes, there's no doubt about it. Facial recognition is a very big challenge. And the world over, it is a challenge. Now, there's been a debates all over. Your Aadhaar data, Aadhaar card itself is a big data management challenge, because your face is there in your Aadhaar card. Your eye recognition is there. Your fingerprints are there. So I don't think you can now do any function without such type of, these are a challenge. These are challenge. Like he just said, I scroll I'm following what has happened in Patala, I'm following that. My phone is throwing up same videos and reels again and again. And my wife sees a recipe, cooking recipe, and she keeps getting a cooking recipes. So these type of challenges you're going to go there. If you need a facial recognition, which is a very important aspect of electronic security, why facial recognition? We have gone beyond that facial recognition to behavioral recognition. I had a Russian delegation coming to me 4 years back. They have deployed that if you are walking through an area, a camera captures your face, expressions, and can deduct whether you are a potential criminal or not, or you're going to get into a criminal activity. And there will be a lot of innocent people going to be detained based on that, because he had a problem from his friend or a colleague, and he's in a foul mood, and that is captured. And you are being detained by security agencies. It is a very big challenge. And you cannot, you have to live to adopt this challenge and live through these challenges. We got to live through these technological challenges. There is no two ways about it.
Thank you so much. Mohit, if I could come to you, we spoke about the self, we spoke about the smart homes. Let's talk of the IoT connected ecosystems as such. What's Honeywell's play there? And second part is, how much AI will play a role in terms of influencing the next generation of IoT connected devices?
Well, so first of all, the first part of the question that you spoke about, again, goes to the heart of the fact that, and again, I'll try and paint a scenario. We live in a city that's known, unfortunately, for bad air quality. I just did a check before I walked in. We're still at around 150, whereas the WHO prescribed limit is 80, right? Now, imagine having AI being able to plug weather data into your device, your air purification device, or as you mentioned, the summer coming, your air conditioner being able to pull weather data, predictively forecast what's going to happen, not by you clicking on an app and saying, okay, I'm 20 minutes away from home, switch on my air purifier or switch on my air conditioner, but doing so automatedly within this city. And I'm talking in a live scenario. So that's the level of what I would say the second layer of building that will happen over and above what we called IoT devices, right? Which were all the smart appliances, as we call them, which essentially were dumb, but they had no intelligence of their own, but you could control them with the app remotely. That's what they meant. But AI, I think, adds that layer. And the scenario that I painted is a classic, simple scenario that has a fundamental impact where predictively weather patterns are being pulled in for your location, you're geotagged in it, and your home is being made more comfortable for your use or your family's use based on predictively forecasting what it's going to be like. The second question you asked about how this goes into the future. Well, you know, if you look at today's generation of millennials and Gen Zs, they're digitally native. Most of us perhaps weren't digitally native, but I would also say that we've fairly become digitally native now. It got forced upon us, right? None of us are AI native at the moment, right? So whether you're using DeepSeek, or whether you're using ChatGPT, or you're working on some of the models that the Microsofts of the world or the Googles of the world are working on, the fact of the matter is, and it's been said very well multiple times by various people, that AI is not going to take your job, but if you don't know how to use AI, then you'll be out of the job, right? So I think people in fine arts, people with liberal arts, where there is that X factor of human intervention, will really work well with artificial intelligence. And I think we've just got started. I think this is a multi-decadal, this is not something that's going to profoundly impact what happens in the next 12, 24, 36 months. This is a multi-decadal impact, just as the smartphone, if you think about it, came to the fore in the early 2000s and really has had a 2-decade plus journey to be where we are. I think similarly, artificial intelligence and the generation coming will be the AI native generation who will understand how to get maximum value out of it. And I think I go back again to the moral and ethical dilemma of it. as to how much is good enough and that balance. And I think organizations, consumers with varying different privacy concerns or choices will have to make those decisions for themselves and for larger audiences at stake.
I'll quickly have some last thoughts from all of you in terms of what is that you are very much personally excited about the future from each of your company's perspective. You know, Mohit had some good points there. I would love for all of you to supplement that.
Yeah, so I think, as I think all the panelists says that AI is, right now we are just at the beginning of what AI can deliver. Of course, it comes with challenges, as Sir mentioned, about, privacy, and, there'll be certain challenges on the way we use it. I think Sir also mentioned that, it's not about AI will, throw us out of the job. It is fundamentally AI that we all need to know, especially as professionals, to be able to deliver, whether we are in marketing, finance, supply chain, or any other field. So, that's the most important thing for all professionals, that AI is an enabler. We need to learn how it will shape up, both our, both our products, as well as the way, our habits will evolve with AI is something, it's going to drastically change over the next 2-3 years. So, both as consumers and as well as manufacturers, we'll see a drastic change, in the way we are living. We're already seeing, to an extent, but of course, over the next few years, we'll see both, professionally and personally, from a usage habit, from the kind of products we are using, from, the kind of personalization that the products will be able to deliver. We'll see a sea change, maybe in the next 3 to 4 years down the line.
Arina, quickly closing thoughts from you.
To be very honest, I'm very excited about the opportunities that AI is bringing, and I don't see a challenge. There were times when people were selling ice on the street, or there were people before the fridges were invented, or there were people who were closing the elevator door before the automatic elevator was invented. It's about developing, elevating yourself, and again, AI is a tool, and we should treat it as a tool that will allow us to do more. But you're very right, the security and data privacy should be very much involved, because the opportunities are limited, but we have to regulate them. So I feel great about the new doors that are opening with help of AI.
No, truly appreciate all 4 of you joining me today. We are very much out of time, but again, as an analyst, I look at this from the part of how much proof point you can have to really believe that AI is not a hype. It's very much real. All of these wonderful gentlemen, and you as well, Arina, I really appreciate you for your thoughtful insights as such, primarily because my family, when I told them that I'm going to be here and you're on my panel, I was specifically asked to take a selfie with you, so we will do that as well. Really appreciate all of you joining us on this particular panel. AI is something to really look for. When you look at consumer electronics, it's not just about using AI as a hype tool. It's not AI just as a marketing tool. More and more enterprises are really leveraging AI at the core of their enterprise. And that's something which at Cyber Media Research, we are very excited about. Our insights points to a future where AI will really drive not just efficiencies, but personalization as well as care across the spectrum. It's not just digital natives, but as Mohit was pointing out, and that's what I'm really excited about, how can the millennials and others really adopt to an AI-first era as such? AI natives are very much, fluent with AI tools, but what about the older generations? As we move forward, there will be that challenge in terms of balancing between convenience and caution, privacy and other issues. But the key takeaway is that consumer electronics, AI is very much at the core of all of the experiences that you are enjoying, whether it be beauty, whether it be the security, smart homes, or appliances as well. So thank you so much, all of you. Really appreciate it. And I conclude here. Thank you.
Just one small, just being a devil's advocate on AI, while AI is a good thing, but at the same time, it's making human capability also like dependent on technology. There was a time when we could calculate, what 25 into 25 is, but right now we are dependent on calculator and Excel sheets. Likewise, the more technology we are using, we're just expecting the technology to, deliver results or answers. So, but I think, that's something that we need to keep in mind, that we need to learn capability of, how are we going to use that technology. So it's about both, the human brain development and use of technology, which will help us in kind of, living life in a very different way from what it used to be. Thank you.
Yeah, I think just to add to you, it's not the answer that you get from any of these chat agents, it's also the quality of the question that you ask, right? If you ask, it's garbage in, garbage out, right? So it's the quality of the question that also will determine how these chat agents get used. So 25 into 25 will give you the right answer, but if you don't ask the right question, you won't get the right answer.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Truly appreciate that. Over to you, Pritika.
Thank you. Maybe please request the guests, is there time for a photo op? Please come for a photograph. Thank you. Okay, thank you so much, our esteemed guests. A big thank you to Prabhu Ram for leading such a thought-provoking discussion, and to all our esteemed panelists for their incredible insights into AI-driven product innovation. So as we near the end of the conclave, we wrap up with an exclusive fireside chat featuring a tech luminary sharing candid insights into the future of AI and innovation. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Khurafati Nitin to host this electric fireside chat.
Thank you. Thank you, Pratika.
Thank you. Over to you, Nitin.
Thank you so much. Are we on? Can you hear me? Good evening. Thank you so much यहाँ बुलाने के लिए. Such an honor to be part of this. So, all right, folks, we've seen smartphones getting smarter, laptops getting lighter, and even vacuum cleaners now making life decisions on their own. लेकिन असली सवाल ये है, are we ready for an AI-driven future? AI is no longer just a buzzword. It's here, it's powerful, and it's changing everything. From your phone recommending what to watch, to businesses predicting what you'll buy before even you know it. AI is everywhere. But let's be real. AI adoption is not all smooth sailing. कहीं enterprises को scalability का challenge है, कहीं workforce को लगता है कि AI उनकी नौकरी छीन लेगा. And let's not forget the big questions around ethics, AI bias, and sustainability. So, how do Indian businesses not just keep up with AI, but actually stay ahead of the curve? For that, we have someone who knows AI like a smartphone knows your screen time habits. Let's welcome Arvind Chabda, Director, One Channel, Lenovo, a global leader in AI-powered computing. Please put your hands together for Arvind Chabda. So welcome, Arvind. Thank you so much for taking your time today. You know, Lenovo की बारे में बात करेंगे आज बहुत सारी, and you know, I think it's going to be a learning experience for me also, because I also don't know much about AI. आपसे बहुत कुछ सीखने को मिलेगा. So first, I'd like to know, how is Lenovo Smarter AI for All Vision becoming a reality for consumers and for enterprises?
So first of all, thank you NDTV and thanks Nitin. And maybe we can talk in English. That's what I love the most. See, before I get into that, how it has helped in our vision, let me put one context, because up till now we were talking more about that personalized AI. Now imagine you and me are a consumer. We need definitely the AI support as a personalized AI solution, so which can probably take away a lot of non-value added efforts which we put in. Like I heard one of the panelists talking about that it can order your coffee. Right. When it can order my coffee, imagine the next stage that I go to my office every day, I take a break at one of the shop where I get my favorite coffee, but it can order automatically. When I reach to the shop, I have to wait for 5 minutes for my coffee to get ready. Now imagine my smart device is ordering it 5 minutes before with my GPS tracking, that it orders that within 5 minutes I'll be reaching to that shop. I don't waste my 5 minutes. I just collect my coffee and on my way to office. So that's the power of AI. Right. But yeah, as rightly said, that we have to take care of a lot of other aspects. But coming back to, this is all about personalized problem. You and me also play the role of our professional life. Right. So personally, it can help me. How does it help me professionally to play my role? I can play a very different role in my different stages of day. Then comes my business issues, or let's say my business solutions. So that is where, when it starts becoming, in my role, how do I solve my business problem? Then comes the enterprise problems. That as an enterprise, how do I make the best out of AI? Right. And then comes the vertical-like solutions. And a few days back, we had our tech word, wherein one of the live case study was discussed, and it's very classic one, sports industry. Now, sports industry, you definitely wanted to compete. It's a competitive game. And you wanted to compete in the spirit. So it's important to know that what strategy should be against the format the other opponent is using. But at the same time, if imagine his genetics are different, your genetics are different. If that input can also come into play and tell you that you need not to just look at his style and compete. You can probably use something else which is very unique to you and probably have a better strategy. So there is an immense opportunity when it comes to AI. And now coming back to your very specific question that how are we seeing our vision going? As I said that the AI is not only for personal use, but even for my role, even for my business need, even for my enterprise need, and even for very specific vertical. Hence, it is very, very important that the AI has to support a wide array. And that's where Lenovo vision, I would say, comes much, I would say, strength. Because if you look at the Lenovo portfolio, we call it pocket to cloud, full stack. Today we say that our phones has to be AI. I mean, Motorola is definitely Lenovo's brand. Then your screens, notebooks, PC, desktop, edge server, cloud, storage, software stack, you talk about anything. So that is the wide thing, and that's where we come to smarter AI for all. That it's not only solving one part of your need. It is like, how do we help across the spectrum and make it smarter AI for all?
Wonderful, wonderful. You know, I'd also like to know, because आप हैं, you know, आप post बिल्कुल सही है, you're director one channel के director हैं आप. तो what is Lenovo's channel strategy in India?
See, whatever solution we offer to the market, we have to deal with multiple stakeholders. And the journey starts from the end customer. Right. But during that journey, from the end customer to the system integrator, to the value-added reseller, to the various vendors. Because AI, one part is the device, but then there are applications also. Then there are industry-specific solutions also. And that do come from various global vendors. So this all is supported by our 360 global partner framework, wherein we try and connect the entire ecosystem so as we can meet our end customer needs much more fast and in an optimized way. Now, to leverage this, we do have the India strategy, because as I said, we have a wide range of product which starts from a pocket to cloud. Right. So these definitely are in different business groups. So one group is called Intelligence Device Group, then called Infrastructure Solution Group, and then Software and Services Group, which is more about the solutions and all. Now, our channel partner, when they are interacting with the customer or taking forward the solution, meeting the different need of different customer, they need to connect with all three businesses group. And then at the same time, today, our customers are also transforming, right, in terms of the AI adoption. Same is our channel. Because there's an existing channel, there is an existing ecosystem. Is that ready for AI? Maybe not. Do they want it to be ready for the AI? Answer is yes. It's a transformation journey. So as Lenovo, we are very clear that when 95%, maybe plus minus, our business is through channel. We reach to our customer through our channel. And when I say channel, it's not only the sales side. Channel is an ecosystem. Sometimes there is a product or an application or a software which has to go along with you to complete the solution what customer is looking at. This entire ecosystem is built around the Lenovo 360 Global Partner Framework. But coming to very specific how we are enabling them is, so this particular framework is on 3 core pillars: enable, connect, and grow. When we say enable, enable is first and foremost thing is that how do I enable the entire ecosystem to leverage what we have to offer. Yeah. And then connecting them with the right expert also. Because we can't expect everyone to be an expert of everything. True. While the customer needs are widespread, right? They definitely need to connect with various experts at a various stage. So how do we enable them in that? Then how do we enable them in terms of their information, knowledge, as fast as possible? Because innovations are happening real time. The use cases are getting developed by various other efforts which are being put in. So how do we enable the entire ecosystem? That's the first pillar, I would say. Yeah. Then connect. So how do we make these people connect, talk to each other at a fast pace? And again, when it comes to personalize, yes, the AI, we can solve a lot of problems. But when it comes to enterprise, it starts becoming complex. because every enterprise is trying to solve a different problem and taking an advantage or a lead in terms of their business. So how do we connect them to leverage the stack of solutions? And then comes grow, that how do we make them grow in this journey? Grow in terms of their knowledge, grow in terms of their tier, because if they grow in terms of their tiers, their reward also goes up.
Right.
So this is the three foundation pillar, which I will say enable, connect and grow, on which we are helping our channel to take the entire solution to the relevant customers in the industries.
Absolutely. For any successful business, I think it's very important to keep your channel partners also happy. So how do you empower the channel partners to benefit, from the new technologies that are emerging today?
So one is, as I said, the ecosystem, the amount of solutions range we have.
Yeah.
But apart from that, the other important stuffs are sustainability. How do I complement to the channel what he is not able to? Let me take a very simple example. So first is the sustainability. So Lenovo has L360 Circle, which is nothing but a community platform where all the channel can come together and share their best practices in terms of the sustainability. That how are they giving back to the community?
Right.
But coming back to the second part, how do I enable them with the new technologies? Now, let's imagine a customer who, let's imagine a channel partner who is ready for a transformation journey, and he's serving a customer who probably is expecting too much fast, and probably channel is not yet ready. There is 10 needs of a customer, 5 channel is able to give, and 5 he's struggling to find an answer to today. But in his future vision, he is clear that he wanted to travel that journey. So there comes Lenovo handy to him, and we say that, okay, out of 10, if you can do 5, you do 5, balance 5, we will find you an ecosystem. Then at the same time, the another channel could be at a stage who can only do 2, and 8 he can rely on our ecosystem. Somebody can do 8 and can rely on 2 for our ecosystem. So that's the way we are enabling. Like TrueScale is one classic umbrella brand what we have, where we ask our channel to engage with the customer in terms of the entire stack solution to do whatever he's best at doing and let the rest be complemented by us.
Nice. Awesome. With the rapid pace of AI advancements, how does Lenovo help its channel partners stay ahead of the curve and continuously add value to their customers?
See, AI is all about how you are enhancing your knowledge. I mean, that's what, if somebody would have to ask my personal opinion, what is my take? It is all about, because innovations are happening every day. Use cases are getting created every day. Today when this durable stuff was being talked about, I mean, that's a classic opportunity. So knowledge is the most important thing. And that is where in our framework itself, when I said grow, we have the platform and we create the opportunity where we engage with our channel, right, in terms of imparting the knowledge, right, leveraging the cross knowledge. So that is one area. And then definitely the other side also has to reciprocate, which they do, because they also wanted to travel this journey in the transformation of AI or AI-led solutions, what we are talking about.
Right. Fantastic. Thank you so much for your time. Dil to kar raha hai, bahut sare sawal puche, but there's one more question I want to ask you that, as a leader engaging with channel partners, what's one key insight that you've gained about the challenges and opportunities in bringing AI-driven solutions to, different businesses in India?
If I have to give one word, I'll always say knowledge. Knowledge is the challenge, knowledge is the opportunity. Today we don't have the knowledge, or maybe I would not say, I take my word back, that we don't have the knowledge. We might have the limited knowledge. Knowledge might be well spread. So that's a challenge. There's no one guy who can claim and say that I'm the expert, right? There's multiple people come together and that knowledge becomes the expert. That's the challenge, right? And that's the opportunity at the same time. That how do we get that knowledge quickly translated or transformed from whosoever is holding it to the next level, and then the entire ecosystem evolve in terms of the complete solution, which is more ethical and solving more real-life problems for everyone who is looking at AI as a solution.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much, and I think itni knowledge dene ke baad main bhi ek channel partner ban jaunga Lenovo ka bahut jald. What a conversation. All is, AI is clearly not just the future. It's the present, the assistant, the advisor, and dare I say, the boss, वो भी बन सकता है. But one thing is clear, AI is not here to replace us. It's here to upgrade us. Just like a software update. थोड़ा adjustment लगेगा, but फिर life smooth हो जाएगी. And for Indian businesses, the message is simple. AI isn't something to fear, it's something to embrace. जैसे free Wi-Fi in an airport. A huge thank you to Arvind ji for sharing such amazing insights. AI तो smart है ही, but clearly so are the people building it. Ladies and gentlemen, AI का future अभी बस शुरू हुआ है. तो fasten your seat belts, क्योंकि अगला update कब आएगा, कोई नहीं जानता. मैं हूँ खुर्रा पदरीदीन. थोड़ी देर में मिलेंगे with our awards section, so stay with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Nitin.
Thank you, Nitin, for such an electric chat. And huge thanks to Arvind Chabra for sharing such invaluable insights. So as we conclude this incredible conclave, I want to take a moment to thank all our panelists, moderators, and speakers for sharing their knowledge, ideas, and expertise. These discussions today have been insightful, inspiring, and give a glimpse into the future of AI-powered technology. We now take a short break before we reconvene for the grand NDTV Gadgets360 Awards 2025. So for now, enjoy your high tea, network with fellow tech enthusiasts, and we'll see you very soon for the celebrations ahead. Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Have a great evening.